Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Throwback Thursday. Happy Weekend Eve. Listen, I'm excited to be here. I am Thelma Anderson, the creator, the host of the Public Opinion Court, where opinions aren't what reality, but no, that is definitely not the slogan. Welcome to the Public Opinion Court, where the truth ain't reality, but opinions are. And today, listen, y'all, I had to come. I had to come in here today because today was an explosive, efficient, tea spilling, nuts holding, man to bitch ass nigga type of energy. We had a man's man on the stand. And there are different ways that a person can be a man. But that's why I'm excited to go over today's testimony because, listen, it was just explosion after explosion. No pun intended for Kid Cudi, but it was explosive. So with that, before we get started, I want to make sure that you are following, liking, especially liking, and make sure you are subscribed to Real Life Street Stars, where I have entered into this collaboration for the Diddy trial to bring you all live breakdowns every day for the duration of this trial to break down what happened, the legal ramifications, how does the elements match the testimony, the evidence, or the facts, what happened, what didn't happen, to get you all's opinions, get you all to engage, and also educate you all on the legal aspect of the first ever Freaky Rico trial to be tried ever. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, I want you all to engage, ask questions. If it's something that you don't know, if it's something you want me to explain, ask it. This is a safe space. This is a respectful space. We're gonna keep the respect for each other, and we're gonna get straight to it. So normally, you all know this is where I do good evening, princess. Good hi, Brandy, all the way from Sacramento. Shout out to Cali. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Sacramento. I feel special. Oh my God. Thank you. So you all know this is where I normally do the hot topics, but it was just so much. The government went through 4 witnesses today. So they finished with the assistant, George Kaplan. They then went to the kid and the cuttee, the cuttee. Then they went to Morales, the makeup artist. Then they went to a special agent. 4, 4, 4. But I'm going to spill a little something for y'all because this just happened also. If you are in the state of Texas, you know that the state of Texas has allowed us to indulge in a controlled amount of THC and Delta 8. But as of today, and if you're a Republican, close your ears. But if actually don't close your ears, because these dumbass Republicans have decided to vote to ban authorized use based on the quantity of THC in Delta 8. I'm pissed because why y'all just won't regulate it so that you all can properly tax it? But it sounds like y'all want to arrest more people as if y'all are going to get money that way. It sounds like you all don't want to go in and do the proper research. Hey, Black Power, the proper research. And y'all just decided to sit your ass in the house and vote this down that is going to not only affect so many people, businesses, but they don't understand how those particular legal quantities help with individuals with anxiety, mental health, pain, depression, to be able to sleep at night, focus, function. Y'all set y'all white privilege ass up in that house and voted this down. And then how many businesses are going to be affected? It makes no damn sense. It wasn't affecting y'all, but y'all decided to sit y'all privilege ass up in there and do one of the dumbest things ever. Like, y'all, when I tell y'all, that came over my desk at like 2:00. I was hot 99. Hot 99. Listen, shout out to Tay. She's from West Palm Beach. Shout out to Simon. Is it Simon or Simone? Simone from New Jersey. Listen, yeah, I try not to curse like that. But when when it's just that damn dumb, I gotta take it there. No, I haven't forgotten that jail is a business, but I also recall those levels of quantities don't even qualify for a person to get apprehended. And I do recall that several states have decided against prosecution of low-level quantities of marijuana. But I kind of see where they're going with this is because if you are found with these types in this type of form, it can be elevated to a felony off the top. So I see what you're saying. But it's the businesses that are affected. I'm talking about businesses that have to fucking close down. I'm talking about people who use their life savings to open these legitimate businesses that was also bringing in a tax revenue for the state. So I had to break that to y'all if y'all are in Texas and the word has not gotten out because it just happened like close to midnight. And I'm just waiting for Jasmine to read them for filth. That's what I'm waiting on. You're right, Vita. It's a multi-million-dollar industry, the jail. Billion dollar industry. And like Princess said, it helps with ADHD. Like, I remember what was it, a couple of years ago, like right after I experienced witnessing one of my closest friends drown. Y'all, my anxiety, everything was like it was falling apart. And because of the ability to have these at your that was accessible, I was able to not have so much anxiety, but it leveled off to where I could cope. So that's why I have one of the biggest issues with what they're doing because it has so many health benefits. And also women who have menstrual, fibroids, PCO, is it PCOS, endometriosis, those, y'all. Hold on. Oh my God, we have someone from the UK. Shout out to Lisa Austin. Welcome. Oh my God, I feel so special. Lisa, girl, thank you. Thank you for joining. This just made me even more excited because I was going to go to a negative comment, but I ain't even going to do that. Oh my God, we got another UK. Carla. Hey, girl. Welcome to the Public Opinion Court in collaboration with Real Life Street Stars. Now, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are liking. Okay? So now that we got that bad news out of the way, because we live in the state of Texas that is so ghetto and just hate us, let's get into the tea that happened today. So, you know, when we left off yesterday, we were talking about George Kaplan. So, George went on to finish his testimony, and I am going to bring George up to the stage. Let me try to decrease me a little more so that y'all can see everything. So we're going to, I've been using it for shoulder pain. So I imagine it's way more necessary for people with, exactly, Princess, exactly. So we left off on George. We're just going to do a brief overview because George said a lot. So those of you who were not here yesterday, let's just get on into it. George ended up being the executive assistant to Diddy, where he was making about $125. This was back in 2013, and he left in 2015. He was working $80 to $100 hours a week, which is insane. The person that he was to answer to and report to was KK. You gonna hear KK. KK name was dropped so much today. Capricorn's name was dropped so much today. The bodyguards' names wasn't dropped as much today, but those two women was dropped today. So his roles and responsibilities was booking hotels in cities like Miami, New York, Los Angeles. He was in charge of Diddy's bags, making sure they were packed with one of his most expensive accessories, which was his drugs of choice. He was responsible for cooking meals, getting the hotel room ready, to making sure he cleaned up the room after the night of freak-offs. So, unfortunately, the government, or fortunately for George, the government had to give him immunity because Diddy had him committing illegal activity, which are crimes. He was in charge of buying the drugs for Diddy, getting prescriptions in his name. Some of the drugs that he will be purchasing from drug dealers in either LA or Miami that were being transported across state lines, which is a federal crime, were MDMA, ketamine. He was responsible for getting ecstasy. Sometimes the little white girl, you know, the one that Whitney Houston said was expensive. She don't do the cheap, she do the expensive. He was in charge of setting the mood in the room, making sure the candles, the baby oil, the Astroglide was in the rooms. And he had to be available for 24/7. So that's the little breakdown of his overview responsibilities. Hold on, let me read some of these comments. Judge Dreads, what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. Let's see. I don't even know what Dexter talking about. Okay, let me, we got to get AJ up out of here. Bye, AJ. You don't get mute, you get banned. Oh, what are y'all talking about? Dexter, you got to go to... Yes, it's actually is over 200 people in here. Please, for the love of God and for the love of the breakdown of this case, please go ahead and hit your like button. We got to get those likes up, because if y'all want this tea, y'all got to give me some likes, because I didn't put in all this work all day for nothing. So can we get the likes up? Thank you. I really appreciate it. Why are you not talking about the creepy WD that I do not know. Listen, y'all gonna have to use, y'all can't use abbreviations when I don't know who these people are. So please be mindful. Thank you. So back to Mr. George. George had to receive immunity because of the criminal activity he engaged in at the direction of his employer. So Diddy made it seem like, oh, I trust you. You are my number one guy. But what George revealed today was some of his bad acts that he was able to be a part of. So the one thing that I want to recall y'all to is when Cassie talked about the occasion where she was on the jet and she had got beat up. Well, George was on that jet too. September 2015, the Las Vegas incident. Well, Cassie got beat up on that jet. She got beat up so bad that Cassie screamed out for help. And she looked around and she was like, ain't nobody gonna intervene. Y'all see what he's doing. Ain't none of y'all finna step up. And he said everybody on that plane was quiet as a mouse, including him. He said he was more shocked than anything. And Diddy made her go into one of those rooms that are on the private jets and made her stay there. But before that, there was some damage done to the plane. Like some glass had been broken, things of that nature. But what he also stated was that he didn't see him hit her, but the commotion and the fact that she screamed like that. And let me tell you one of the mistakes that the defense made, and I want to tell this early because I am talking about what he testified to on direct. The defense made a fatal mistake when you ask a state's witness if they seen any injuries on a victim. Let me tell you why that is a mistake. Because the law states injury does not have to be present for someone to have been assaulted. It is only if they feel pain from the offensive contact, which is considered an assault. You never ask a question that you don't know the answer to with an individual that is intelligent as such as George. And when the defense asked him that, George said, just because I did not see an injury does not mean that she was not injured, because injuries don't have to be visible. Hold on. What y'all think about that? Do y'all think that was a dumb question to ask when you don't know the answer and you are representing an individual who is fighting for his life, and you have an individual that is a state's witness that makes a comment and says, no, I didn't see any injury, but I know injuries don't have to be visible for someone to have suffered an injury. When I heard that, I could have pulled every braid out and been edgeless, because no attorney asks that kind of question. And guess what? That was the last, and he ended on that question. Judge Drez, that is not what I stated. And let me educate you on your misidentification of what I stated. What I stated that he said was, and let me go to the law. The law states that a person does not have to have visible injury in order to have been injured. What the law states, so long as that person felt pain from the offensive contact that resulted in the assault, that is enough. If a person punches you and you say, ouch, but you don't got no visible injury, and you tell the police that you felt pain, guess what? That person is going to get arrested. Thank you. Thank y'all for having my back. But listen, y'all, because I'm still not seeing these likes. Please, it's over. It's so many of y'all in here. Please get the likes up. Please. Thank you. Hallelujah. So now back to some more of his explosive testimony. Now, he confirmed that the damage that was done on the plane had to be paid with the corporate credit card that belonged to Diddy. So when you connect the fact that she was assaulted and there was damage and they had to use the corporate account to pay for the damages on the flight, do y'all not see what the government putting down so that y'all can pick it up? Also, they had to seek treatment for her that was also paid by the corporate credit card. Do y'all not see what the government putting down so y'all can pick up? He mentioned KK, the main personal assistant to Diddy, was aware of the abuse, but stayed silent. She did not say that she was okay with it. She just stayed mute. And like I said yesterday, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. some bullshit on a high degree. He also brought in one of Diddy's other favorites, Gina, the one that the world thinks is not coming to testify, the world thinks that has fallen off the face of this earth. He said that she came to Star Island and Diddy had the audacity to be throwing. Hold on, I gotta bring myself to the front for this so y'all can see my face, because it was literally ridiculous. Hold on, stop doing it. I don't know what this is doing because it don't want me to. Did I press something? Hold on, let me see. Okay, I think I could do it now. This man was throwing green apples at Gina. Green apples. And he wasn't just throwing them, y'all. He was throwing it like he played Major League Baseball. And then he said she came into the house and they had a screaming fest. And of course, the defense wanted to say, well, you didn't see anything go down. He was like, I just saw that he was throwing apples at her. And from that moment, he said after the incident with Cassie, he just couldn't take it anymore. He said his moral compass could no longer take it. And he could not be a part of, even though he loved what he was doing, he enjoyed the experience, he loved working for Sean Combs. He learned so much that was invaluable, but his moral compass did not align with him, and he could no longer sit around and see that type of behavior. He said once he started to see the abuse, he had to hit the road. And y'all, he lied about why he was leaving. Now, y'all tell me why y'all think he lied. Y'all tell me why y'all think he lied. And while y'all telling me that, make sure y'all like, because we got to get these likes up so that I can keep doing this content. Do y'all want me to keep coming on here and giving y'all the breakdown? I need y'all to get these likes up. So he told Diddy what his notice was that his father had cancer. You got to be a bad motherfucker to have somebody lie about their parents having cancer so that they can get away from you, so that you won't go around tarnishing their name, so they can stay in the industry that they love, but they can't love it being with you because of what you're doing. That man was scared. Huh? Now, how this makes sense? And I'm only putting this up here because it makes no sense. But I want King James to tell us, how does that make sense? I hope you was typing so fast that you mistyped Cassie instead of Diddy. Because I don't know where you get Cassie threatened to kill someone, probably. Y'all, I need y'all help. I need y'all to help King James. because he hasn't been tuning in like y'all have since Saturday. Because where is he getting anything about Cassie threatening anyone other than the man that was abusing her, turning her into a sex worker, manipulating her, making her enter into financial abuse, blowing up other people's shit, beating up other people. Y'all know that's in the text message, right? And the text message was to Diddy. And actually, no, I'm not going to, until I get these likes up, I'm not going to enter in that information because I got it on my phone. So until we get these likes up, that information to confirm or denounce what y'all saying is not coming in the chat. It's not coming in the chat. It's not coming in the chat. Man, can't it hurt when listen, I have been reviewing this trial each and every day. Each and every day. So back to what George testified to in relations to and the reason why he received immunity and how does it add value to the elements that Diddy is charged with. For Rico, he established the criminal enterprise. He was an employee. He was getting paid as an employee. He was having to use his money to buy illegal things and then getting reimbursed by his employee. He identified drug trafficking and how he had to go and buy drugs in 2 different cities and transport them across state lines. And also confirming that Diddy would make him hold $50,000 in cash on occasions. He also confirmed that Diddy would make him book hotels under an alias named Frank Black. Not his name, but Frank Black. Which they are utilizing that information for sex trafficking and possibly transportation of prostitution. When he confirmed that he was responsible for going in and setting the mood and also cleaning up after, where he would have to clean up residue of a white substance so that individuals from the hotel would come in and take pictures and sell it to the tabloids because of the condition of that room. Yeah. Transportation for prostitution, Cassie. Sex trafficking, Cassie. So those are the type of elements that I equate to what the state is attempting to do in order to assist them in proving the elements and meeting their burden for this particular witness. Now, of course, they have to maintain this same energy on each witness because you do not want to be bringing up useless witnesses for no reason. I don't think the defense they didn't bring any value to their defense with this particular witness, other than saying that, this was so funny. They asked him, how did he feel about Diddy? He was like, I enjoyed my time. I had a great time working for Diddy. And I learned a lot. And it was like, you sent him a wedding invitation. He said, yeah, but he didn't come to my wedding. He didn't respond to it. I was like, stop asking these stupid ass questions that add no value if you don't know the response. You could have picked up the phone. You could have talked to George just as well as the government. You have a responsibility to call and talk to the same individuals that are on their witness list. But it's clear that the defense is not doing their due diligence in calling these witnesses, asking these questions ahead of time so that they can know or anticipate what they're going to answer to. They are confusing the narrative. Thank you, Nicole. Hold on. So I'm reading some of the comments before I go to Kid Cudi. Thank you, Princess. Yeah, because if the likes don't get up to at least 150, only way it's gonna get out of here is the federal government come confiscate my phone like they did Diddy and extracted that data and saw some shit that they ain't need to see. So I need y'all to get these likes up. So that was pretty much their perspective of Mr. George. George, when I tell y'all, after George got off that stand, George ran down to that black truck and got the hell up out of that courtroom. The hell. That they are demons possessed of full of satanic. Does anyone have? Don't be in here. We got to get you. You going in timeout because you ain't finna be on here scamming. Hold on, y'all. I see. Y'all know me. The ones that have been on here, y'all know me. Y'all know how credible I am. Y'all know that I tell it for both sides. Y'all know that I'm fair. Y'all know I don't bring out false information. And that's just in a little short time that y'all have been introduced to me. But we got somebody new in the chat that needs to get acclimated. And I'm finna bring him to the stage so that he can get the attention that he is looking for. So while we're reading it, make sure y'all are liking while we're about to have a moment of silence for him before I take off real quick and land the plane real quick. Okay, we done had a moment of silence because however you spell your name, I don't know why your mama named you that, because it's not even spelled right, and it don't even sound like it got a good spelling to it. But let me tell you something. We haven't even gotten to Kid Cudi. That's how low of an attention span that you have, to where you are jumping somewhere that we ain't even gotten to yet. So maybe you haven't went and got evaluated for ADHD or ADD because you are jumping ahead of something that we ain't even gotten to. And I ain't got on this live and said anything of that nature yet. So before you come on here and tell me that I'm lying, you better check your DNA to make sure your daddy ain't lying to you. Because I'm not the one. And my integrity and my character is too high to get on God's internet and play with people's lives, play with people's words, mix words, and not tell exactly what the person said. So you better go play with those who love you. And from the sound of how you talking to a woman, it's not very many. So stay in your place, in your lane, because it's not this one over here. Now you are dismissed. Had to. Thank you, Princess. The whole screen is talking about the executive assistant. Ain't got nothing on there with Kid Cudi. Okay, we about to put Mr. Richards in timeout because he is taking up our time. Yes, all the kids are still present at the trial. I haven't seen the little girls, but I've seen the boys because they are adults. So let's go to Kid Cudi, since whatever his name can't even make a he's in timeout, so he can't make no comments. He just got to sit and watch and be quiet, something that his mama should have taught him how to do back in the day. So our good friend, exactly, I'm just telling them I'm just talking about what was said in the court, trying to educate slow people on the law so that they won't go out and get a freaky Rico like Diddy. Okay? So back to Kid Cudi. Y'all, Kid Cudi walked in the courtroom. Before he got in the courtroom, maybe he had to smoke him a good cigarette. Kid Cudi had to smoke him a good cigarette because he said, y'all already stressed me out. I got to get me a cigarette. The man was so stressed. He had to have a damn cigarette. Good Lord. So Kid Cudi was the star of the day. And I say that because his testimony was very compelling. He was very believable. I believed everything that he said. He was very credible. He had no reason to lie. Nothing that he said was not proven or factual. He confirmed some of the things that Cassie had also said as well. He also confirmed that Diddy is the devil. Diddy is the devil, and it's no way to undo what this man experienced, because Diddy saw him as a threat to his freak-offs. I think Kid Cudi had to wake up way too early for this. Y'all, Kid Cudi, I didn't have a problem with what he had on. I did not have a problem. So Kid Cudi, let me just give y'all an overview of how long Cudi has known Cassie. They met back in 2008. Diddy is the reason that Cudi and Cassie reconnected in 2010, because this is when Diddy was pretending to want her music career with them 9 albums that he signed her to finally give her an album. So Diddy tells Cudi, like, hey, I want you to come work with Cassie. They start working in the studio. And that's how interest was initiated. Feelings were formed. I believe in December of 2010, she was having a conversation with Cudi in the studio, and she told Cudi about her experiences. They asked Cudi what her demeanor was like in the studio when they were talking. He said she looked very depressed and shaken. When she was talking about her abuse, she was talking about how he would hit her and how he would kick her. Cassie testified that in 2011, like towards the end, the summer end or beginning of summer, her and Diddy were on a break. And that's when her and Cudi started dating. Cudi testified that Cassie told him that they were on a break. 2011, we get to December. And Cassie had been doing a good job at not disclosing or keeping their relationship low key. She had been doing a great job. Well, in December, the devil was doing an even better job, because that's when Cassie testified that Diddy had texted her and told her he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car in front of his friends. And that's when Cassie called Cudi. And Cudi testified that when Cassie called him, she was, hysterical. She was scared. And she told him what Diddy had said. And so they met up at the Sunset Marquee that's close to Hollywood Hills in California, like Los Angeles area, because they felt that that was the only place that they could go where it was low key and nobody would find him. This was like 5:30 in the morning, y'all. 5:30 in the morning. So Capricorn Clark is one of Diddy's assistants. Do any of y'all remember Capricorn? If you watched Making a Band or any one of those shows, Capricorn Clark was on the show. Anybody remember her? Thank you, Tunda. Thank you, Roxy. Because the reason why I asked is because she was a pivotal face in some of the shows that he did, like on all the Making the Bands, because she was one of the assistants. So I'm going to show y'all who she is. And it may refresh some of y'all's memory. So this is Capricorn Clark. We know this is the mama, and we know this is Cassie. Thank you, Ryan. So Capricorn Clark was an assistant that worked for Diddy. And she called Cudi and warned him, like, she was hysterical. She called him and she warned him. She was like, Diddy forced me to get in the car and made me drive over to your house. They're in your house. They broke into your house. You know, I just need to tell you this, you know, just out of concern, like really trying to warn him. But again, what Diddy did, put another employee into the thick of a crime, right? Because what we do know is Diddy did break into his home, him and an associate. We know Diddy was inside of his home. We know that they ransacked the home. You know how we know? Because Cudi called Diddy. Cudi was ready to put them. Cudi was like, he was ready to put belt to ass on Diddy. Belt to ass on Diddy. So Cudi like, and I'm just adding some extra sauce on it. Cudi like, so you in my house? What? Why you in my house? Oh, where? Stay right there, bet. Stay less. I'm coming. That's literally how the interaction was. Diddy confirmed that he was in Cudi's house, and he told Cudi he was going to wait on him. How sick does a person got to be to break in another man's house, and the man called you, and you said you're going to wait on him? So that's two crimes that we have identified right there. Two. Cudi gets home. Cudi goes through his place. You know, they didn't open up presents. This is around Christmas time. They didn't open up presents. Put his dog in the bathroom. And they was like, well, how do you normally have your dog? He said, my dog, I normally leave him around the room in there in the place. And he said, what was the condition of your dog when you got him out of there? He was like, my dog has not been the same since. He said his dog was anxious, like his dog was suffering from dog anxiety. He was very jittery. Like he said he felt it was like somebody had shaken him. Because let's be honest, if you put a dog in a bathroom and you do nothing to the dog is going to come out in the same way the person put him in there. Am I right or wrong? Because if I'm wrong, y'all tell me. Because, I'm not above accountability. But I've never seen a person put a dog in a cage, in a room, close the door, and that dog come out different than they did when they walked in there, when it was put in there. Cudi said on that stage, Diddy hurt my dog. Hold on, y'all. I got another troller. So, Red Ma, before I put you in timeout for lying, for calling me a lie? Kid Cudi testified. Cassie also confirmed in her own testimony this situation. He called Diddy. Diddy confirmed that he was in his home. Diddy told him that he would be waiting on him. Kid Cudi came to his home, found it in the condition that he did. When he saw that something was wrong with his dog, he called Diddy back because he said he was ready to fight him. Diddy said that he was going to come back. He never did. So tell me, where is the fucking lie? And you got 10 seconds to retract before I put you in timeout. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Y'all say bye to Red Mile, whoever he is. So after he sees that his dog is in a condition that he is, that pisses Kid Cudi off, and he testified to that. Like, he was like, you did this to my dog? Oh, you got to see belted ass. It is up and it's stuck. I don't care who you is. I don't care who you think you are. But you played with my dog. You played with my home. You played in my face. You threatened to blow up my car. Oh, we got to settle this. But Diddy never showed up. Diddy never came back because I felt like Diddy, for the first time, somebody other than Gene challenged him. Kid Cudi stood on fucking business with Diddy. Stood on business. And he ain't had nobody stand on business with him other than probably a white wealthy man that put belt to ass on him behind closed doors. I believe Diddy stuck something up. Damn, Tamika. You know how you read something and you don't expect it to go where that goes? Tamika, I did not expect that to go that way. So who's keeping up with the like counts? Because like I said, y'all want this tea to keep staying hot. We need to get those likes up. We need to get these likes up. Thank you. So after that incident, him and Cassie, like Cassie had testified, him and Cassie, 188. Yay, let's get it up to 200. Yay, let's keep getting these likes up. Thank you, Sassy Cassie. So they ended up going to Cassie's home for Christmas, and that's when the issue with the sex tape. That's when the threats started to happen with the sex tape. Oh, before I get to that, what essentially happened to Kid Cudi's dog, if had been reported, could have been on the level of some type of animal cruelty, depending on the penal code in LA. I don't want to assume, because I know in the state of Texas it's totally different and the standards are totally different. But y'all know people don't play about their animals. Animals be getting more protection and love, and a jury don't play about animals. They will convict somebody for doing something to an animal before they do it to a human being. So they ended up going to Christmas, and Diddy is now threatening with this sex tape. This is also when Cassie's mom first sees her, not first sees, but there's an occasion with her scars that she has to see, like the bruising. Her mom is made aware of the threats. Cassie loses her shit, rightfully so. She should have had the belt to ass energy on him. Because you don't threaten to put something out because you mad that you then lost your freak off participant. So, ew. Ew. I'm yelling, not the dog. So, I don't think he needed a new guard dog. That was never set up to be a guard dog. It was never set up to be a guard dog. So when she was putting belt to ass in them threats, her and Kid Cudi, because of what was going on and because of the threats, because of the violence, they mutually agreed to split. They mutually agreed. So they go their separate ways after Christmas. January rolls around. January 2012. Cudi gets a call from his was it his dog walker? And the dog walker let Cudi know his car was on fire. Cudi rushed home. Cudi also called the police. So there is a police report that verifies this. He also calls the police. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. When Diddy and them went over to his house, they moved the security cameras out of view. That's a crime. That's also a crime. That's a crime. So he rushes home, and once the vehicle is put out, someone had cut a hole in the roof of the vehicle, which is a Porsche, and through one of those cocktails, you know, them cocktails that people make, that they put the towel and they throw it. They put one, it was burnt up by a cocktail. Cudi was back on his belt to ass energy. Belt to ass, because he was like, this has gone too far. I gave you your girl back. I could have kept your girl. I would have made her safe. He ain't say that, but that's, you know. So Cudi calls his manager. His manager contacts D-Rock, which is the security for Diddy, and they set up a meeting at Soho House in LA. Cassie's there, Kid Cudi gonna be there, and Diddy. Belt to ass, yes, belt to ass means that we serious. When somebody, listen, y'all use this, but don't tell them that y'all got it from me. Don't tell them that I told you this, but use it. When somebody play in your face and you want to read the shit out of them, get in your belt to ass energy. Because we all know how we grew up. When our parents said it was time for belt to ass, we was ready to give up on life, because the way them people used to whoop back in the day was not normal. Not normal. So they call a meeting. Cudi gets there. He said Diddy is up there standing like he is a Marvel villain. And in my head, I'm like, you scared of Cudi. Because Cudi was ready to put belt to ass for you, but you ain't show back up. You showed up to this man's house when he wasn't there. But when he showed up and he called you twice, like, where you at? Pull up. You wanted to come over here when I went here. Come on here. Come over here when I'm here. And let's get it cracking. Since you want to play with my dog. But Diddy took his scary ass home because he's only used to putting his hands on women. So they sit down. Cudi was not with the shit, y'all. Cudi was not with the shit. Cudi came there for one thing and one thing only, to talk about why you burnt up my damn car. Diddy want to bring up, you supposed to be my boy. We was home. We ain't no fucking homies. We don't go out to eat. You don't call and check on me. You don't know my mama name. You don't even know anything about me. We ain't homies. We in the industry. Two different lanes. That's what I'm saying in my head. I'm just adding some sauce to it. Because to say that we homies, we ain't homies. You ain't bought me no gift. You went and broke into my house. You ain't my homie. So Cudi was like, and I'm adding some sauce to it. Cudi was like, fuck all that in his head. And this was after Diddy had offered him water twice. Diddy offered him water. Now, mind you, he was there before Cudi got there. He offered him water twice. Hmm. Tamika, he offered him water twice. Not one time, but two times. Now y'all know I talked about how that special agent found them eye drops bottles that was laced. Kid Cudi saved his life. Kid Cudi ain't drank that damn water. Kid Cudi came for one thing and one thing only. He wanted to know why you blew up my car. And he asked him that. But before he asked him that, Cassie was like, talked about how she was in love with Cudi. Cudi still like, fuck all that. Why you did what you did to my car? And Did was like, I ain't do nothing to your car. Kid Cudi got his ass up and walked away because he was not with the shit. He was like, in my opinion, he was like, you're not gonna lie in my face. Not this face. You can lie in that face over there. But this one right here, I'm not gonna sit here while you lie in my face. Saya fucking Nara. And he got his ass out there alive because he ain't drank that damn water. Exactly. He said, you ain't finna lie in my face and try to kill me. No pneumonia for Cudi. So he said after that incident, he hadn't talked to either one. And he said he saw Diddy a couple of years later. Diddy comes up to him and apologizes, saying, I'm sorry for all that bullshit back in the day. So y'all tell me what y'all think he was apologizing for. What y'all think he was apologizing for? Exactly, said what exactly, Sassy Cassie. But Kid Cudi said, I ain't even want to. We good. Cause what's his song? I'm still alive. I'm still alive. That's what would have been playing in my head when he said that. I'm like, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. That's what would have been playing in my head. What are you apologizing for, Freaky Rico? Because somebody was saying, what would be his Marvel name? Freaky Rico. That is Diddy's Marvel name. Freaky Rico. Why are you apologizing, Freaky Rico? What you did? What bullshit? We want to know. Oh, okay. Yeah. He is scared of Cudi. Cudi was going to put belt to ass. I don't care if Cudi had never had a fight in his life. He was going to put belt to ass on Diddy. Mm-hmm. Sure was. I would have put my parlay on Kid Cudi. My parlay was going to be on Kid Cudi. Now, if you are just joining, make sure we get those likes all the way up. Please. Thank you. So, after, excuse me, this water I ain't gonna die from this, y'all. This some safe water. Yeah, this some safe water. I'll be sure probably know what probably can enlighten us about what he had consumed that rendered him almost losing his life. Maybe he can let us know about that, those two medical reports, one that came back suspicious, the other one on Kim Porter pneumonia. Maybe they can do that. Maybe they can let us know about that. So now it's time for him to be on cross, y'all. It's time to defense. It's time for the defense to do they big one. And let me tell you what doing a big one was on the first question. Brian Steele asked Kid Cudi about his car being blown up in 2022. I'm not even finna repeat some of that. Brian Steele said, oh, let's talk about your car being blown up in 2022. Kid Cudi said, you mean 2012? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Out the gate. Fumbling out the gate. And this is why defense attorneys usually fumble out the gate. It's because Brian Steele was added on this case late. And you are giving him one of these star witnesses that adds to the elements of the Rico. Because now this is a continuation. No, not a continuation. This is in the furtherance. So He asked him that, then he corrected. One of his biggest, one of the biggest things that he kind of wanted to confuse the jury. And what he said, well, you know, Cassie played you. He was like, yeah. Cassie played you and Diddy. And he got quiet. Because what Brian Steele is ultimately trying to do is put the attention on Cassie as not being mute and cute and a victim, but being the culprit of the dysfunction between these two men. Make sure you're getting those likes up, because yeah, yeah. So when Kid Cudi was testifying to that particular aspect, they are literally trying to tie Cassie to not being a victim, but being a party to, and not being naive and slow like the world is trying to portray, which is not a portrayal. It really is the reality of her. Oh, I don't Sean, don't be up in here cutting up. Do not be up here cutting up. Okay? So after he did that, I think that was one of the best the best angles that he could go. That's all he could really work with when it came to Kid Cudi, and also identifying that he didn't see Diddy blow up his car. He only had a threat, which one thing that y'all have to one thing that is very true about law, a lot of cases happen with circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence. So if this would have been in the state of California, this is how the prosecutors would have essentially put the case together. They would have used Capricorn. They would have used Cassie. They would have used Diddy coming to her house. Coming to his house. The threats. This could have been broken wide open a long time ago, but Kid Cudi did not want to pursue charges. So they would have had to use circumstantial evidence. And back in 2012, guess what was available? Cell phone towers, cell phone data. And guess what? They would have been able to get a hit. So when you put individuals like Capricorn up against the wall, because technically she was a party to a crime, even though she did not set out to commit a crime by going to burglarize someone's home and then committing criminal mischief with their camera system, as well as the issues with the dog. They could have gotten a case back then, but I do believe, and this is allegedly, Diddy may have had law enforcement people in his pockets in LA because of Big Useless. That's how I see it. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. But that is how I would have tried to link it. And you can link it with circumstantial evidence. But it's also a pay-to-play system. Tamika asked, has the Rico been proven? The kidnapping has been proven. The drugs have been proven. The guns that have scratched off that is illegal. So I think he's gone. I think Rico has come into play with a lot of the witnesses from this week. We don't forget the extortion of her mom, the $30K that was sent to his business account and then wired back to her account from the business account. Don't forget the drugs. Oh yeah, you said drugs. It has been proven, but they still have more to add to it, because essentially what the government is trying to do is make it so overwhelmingly clear of what it is. And that's the reason why this week I have to give the W to the government, because how they lined up their witnesses was a strategy that was successful this week. Now, after Kid Cudi testified, what he ended with, because the government came back and asked him one final question, and he ended with that he believed that his car being blown up was intentional. He also believed that Diddy is a violent guy. But he also said Diddy apologized and he's moved on from it, which is, very commendable to say. So when I did the breakdown of what Kid Cudi's testimony added to the breakdown of the Rico, we add burglary with tampering with surveillance, arson, intimidation is a part of the evidence that will add to the value of the elements of Rico. Cudi's testimony did strengthen the Rico claim by demonstrating a pattern of retaliation and control tied to a coordinated enterprise. Because one, now you're bringing employees along. You're bringing employees along. His testimony did not add to the sex trafficking, but it can show a culture that is built on coercion. It also didn't add too much to it didn't add to the transportation, but even with his testimony, broadened the effects of the fear based on the pattern that was created, the control and abuse that can also be tied to other testimonies. So his testimony was very, very valuable to this case. Very much so. Very much so. And I'm not going to get to the makeup artist. I will save her for tomorrow, but I want to get to at least the hotel general manager, because I want y'all to get this particular information before we get on out here, because I got to go to my second live, which is on Fanbase, on one of my rooms called the Public Opinion Court. This is the After Dark live audio live that we do where we talk about this. But make sure get those likes up. I want to at least get the likes to where I see it. Now we are streaming on multiple different platforms. So if you are on Facebook, please like. Please, 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 please get the likes up. But Frederick, his testimony, he's a general manager. And the reason why I wanted to end with this and get this on in there so I can have y'all have something on your brains about the continuation. How often do I go live? So I go live. I'm doing a collaboration with Real Life Street Stars for the duration of the Diddy trial. So every night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. On Wednesdays, it will be 6 p.m. Central Standard Time because y'all, I got to make it to Bible study. I have missed Bible study this week. I can't miss it. I missed it last week. God is not pleased. I got to get my Bible study in. So it will be 6 o'clock p.m. so I can get on the Bible study at 7:15. But I go live weekly from Monday through Friday. Sometimes if Saturday is a little spicy, I may do a refresher on Saturdays. And what I mean by that is I'm going to add all of my breakdowns into one space so that y'all can go and look at all of the evidence and testimony. That way you won't get lost in the sauce, because I saw how the YSL trial, you get lost in the sauce. So I'm going to eventually compile everything together and allow you all to go into one of my rooms where you can grab and look at what was talked about on a particular day, because this is a lie. This is a lie. Oh, thank you, Ivy. Thank you. So with Frederick, y'all, Frederick. Now, Frederick worked for, he's a general manager for one of the hotels, I think it's in New York. Frederick testified that they keep all their records. Anybody that has ever been to their facility, they keep all the records, all of them. So Sean P. Diddy Combs decided that it was time to get his freak on again. It was time. 2009. And let me take y'all back. And y'all know what happened in 2018, right? November, Kim Porter died and he was so distraught. He was so distraught. He did not know how to live anymore. He was so distraught. So, but in 2019, it's time to reactivate the freak offs because Cassie is no longer there. So he goes to this hotel. And guess what? They have a new alias. Ryan Lopez is the new alias. Ryan Lopez is the new alias. There are rules. He said all bookings will only be authorized by KK. They wanted the room at a certain temperature of 75 degrees. He said the rooms often, Frank was tired. Mr. Black was tired. He said the rooms will often be left to have additional cleaning. Now, since George Kaplan ain't there no more, ain't nobody clean up that shit for him. So he had to get a new cleaner. And that is the hotel. And you know the hotel, they don't forget shit. Because this one didn't. He said they would often have to charge him an additional $500 because they will leave excessive amounts of candle wax, baby oil, strong lingering odors. They said whenever they would have Sean Diddy Combs or what's that man name? Ryan Lopez in the building, They would have to put air freshener on the hallway, spread up and down the hallway. Yes, every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes. So, because of this, y'all, they increased their pre-authorization to $1,000 because of Rico, Diddy. They also had damage in the room. I bet he missed George Kaplan. I bet he missed George Kaplan. Tamika, Frederick was the third witness of the day. He was only on the stand for about 15 minutes. 15 minutes. But what the government has done is they're tying this to a continuation. See, Cassie is gone. So now in 2019, they are reactivating the freak offs. But I'm thinking it's with Gina. I'm thinking it's with her. I'm thinking it's Gina. You know, the one that Young Miami went off on? Yeah. I'm thinking it's Gina. So, what is this testimony links to in the Rico? So when you're talking about using a pattern and of an alias, these are also repeated setups of things that he would ask for. The approval being identified by one person within the organization, KK, that can tie to the elements of Rico. And also, when I say the continuation of the exploitation, that's what I believe they're trying to tie it to, because it's 2019 and Cassie is no longer associated with him or within this particular season of the freak offs. It also, the setup style also can detect sex trafficking and the evidence of concealing the tactics, like using alias, the prearranged condition, the attachment, direct involvements to mask the criminal activities. That's what I believe they're trying to get with Frederick. So it's a lot. Listen, KK better bring her ass to that stand. Capricorn better bring her ass to that stand, since she was over here in this picture with Cassie, and then she went off on Cassie a couple of years ago. We're going to get into that when Capricorn bring her ass to the stand, because she better bring her ass to the stand. Her and KK. Um, that applesauce addiction is, I wish that was his only addiction. So today was a lot. They had 4 witnesses. They finished all of them. And yeah. What do y'all think so far? Like, what do y'all think is happening so far? Because I know last week everybody was like, "Oh, where's the Rico?" Do y'all think they're getting into the Rico, into the thick of things? You seeing it now, Princess? I'm telling, the government has turned it up a notch. Yeah, we have 6 weeks left. 6 weeks. That's why I mentioned this is a slow cooker. Like them red beans and rice, like them oxtails, like that pot roast. You got to cook it slow in order to get it to perfection. And so this is what I wanted to tell y'all, like, and I'm going to let y'all vote on it probably tomorrow or Monday. So I'm strongly considering going to New York for the final, like going when it's time for closing arguments and waiting on the jury verdict and reporting live from New York. So I'm going to ask y'all for y'all opinion. I'm going to say it for Monday because I got to, ask, my co-host, we got to talk about the logistics or whatever. But I'm going to want to know what y'all thoughts are. Y'all think it's a good idea? Would y'all tune in if we did it, from New York? Things like that. What do you think of the defense? I think the defense this week was they flatlined. They flatlined with the mama. They flatlined with the special agent. They flatlined with George. They flatlined with David. And let me show y'all the picture of David and Capricorn. Yeah. They were assistants together. So they flatlined with George, Kid Cudi, the makeup artist today. They just, and it's sometimes it's hard to. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Sometimes it's hard to counter something that is so massive. I think their biggest advantage is when they do it against actual people that have intimate knowledge and not experts. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's only up from here. And I think they need to be strategic in who is crossing who. I don't think Steele was a good pick for the cross of Kid Cudi. I don't think he was a good pick. He should have been the one that crossed the makeup artist. Keep it simple. He came in late in the game. Just because you got all this experience don't mean that you deserve to be put on certain witnesses that you simply are not ready for. So I still got hope in the defense to add what they're going to add, but this week was not their week. Like we've said, it's 6 more weeks to go. They're going to have their good days. The government is going to have their good days, and they're going to have their bad days, just like the government is going to have their bad days. I pride myself on being very neutral and fair, but some days you got to call a spade a spade. Some days you got to say when one side just went on their game. Just wasn't on their game. So I'm super excited to see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll probably do more of a freestyle recap of everything in the week. And Fridays, I want to, if not Friday, Saturday. Y'all tell me which I prefer, since Fridays are the happy hour days, which I prefer, Friday or for me to come back midday Saturday where y'all, got time and I can call some of y'all up on the stage. Y'all can ask questions. We can engage. We can interact. and really, break this down for you all as much as possible. I need y'all to vote. Would y'all prefer tomorrow or Saturday? How many likes do we have now in the chat before we leave? $237. That's good. I appreciate y'all for listening. So while y'all decide if y'all want Friday or Saturday, the more people that give me a response is gonna let me know if we should do Friday or Saturday. You talking about both. Now listen, I'm gonna be home tomorrow because I'm on bed rest because I tore my ACL. So I ain't got nowhere to go on a Friday. So if y'all want me to be here, I will be here. You hear me? I will be here if y'all are here. But before we end, make sure you are following me on my social media page on at Lawyer Bay ESQ. That's my Instagram. That's why I post a lot of the shorts on my Instagram and instant information about the case. Also on my TikTok, which is the Public Opinion Court. Make sure you are following my YouTube channel, the Public Opinion Court, on here as well. And also, I have published my very first book, Shut Up and Prosecute. I was a former prosecutor for about 5.5, almost 6 years, and I wrote a book highlighting the discrimination that goes on in district attorney's offices when you don't have the right person in office. So I wrote a book. I tell everything. The tea is being spilt. It is hot. It is on Amazon. If you all would love to support me and get to know the criminal justice system and why I'm doing what I'm doing, because a lot of people think, oh, she's a former prosecutor, she can't be fair. No, that was the reason why I became a prosecutor, so that I could put as much of a dent on the criminal justice system and make it as fair as possible. But when you go in and you look like me and you're trying to make it fair, you're going to get roadblocks. So that's what I wrote about. I also have a documentary that is going to come out very soon, and I will get to share that with y'all as well. And especially if you are following me on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Fanbase, because on Fanbase, I'm Lori Bay ESQ as well. And if you got a Fanbase, I'm going over there right now to do After Dark. So yeah, if you want to support, my book is on Amazon called Shut Up and Prosecute. And yeah, I really enjoyed tonight. Y'all were so good. Y'all, minus the few of the bad apples. My YouTube channel is the Public Opinion Court. So hold on, let me see if I can. So if you look on the screen, it's literally that, but it has the Public Opinion Court. Thank you, Tamika. So you're gonna be back. I know you're gonna be back. Because you was popping it in them comments. You was giving us all the good energy. You was giving us all the good energy. Yes, I was a former municipal court judge. And listen, I enjoyed that as well. So I really feel like God allowed me to touch each area or aspect of the criminal justice system. So with me and doing the Public Opinion Court and Shut Up and Prosecute, it really gives me an opportunity to educate individuals on the criminal justice system from every aspect of the criminal justice system, especially not only for us, but for minorities in itself. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, since y'all said y'all want to see me tomorrow, y'all gonna see me tomorrow, and y'all gonna see me Saturday, because we gonna get into some things. We gonna pop lock in. No, I ain't gonna say that because I can't pop lock and do nothing right now. That's how I got into this mess. So before you leave, make sure you like and subscribe. And oh, thank you. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of your evening.